Okay. Hey, welcome to the continuing wine. I always say "hey" when I start these things, and it sounds so like. Anyway, welcome to the continuing winemaking series here at the Wine of the Month Club. And we're very excited and pleased to have Philip Hahn of Hahn Vineyards drop by. And interestingly, yesterday we had one of his ex-employees, I guess, who is now one of the major farmers in the Monterey County, and that was Steve McIntyre. So you'll see that video coming up. But today we get to talk to Philip Hahn about Monterey and about Hahn Vineyards and some of the stuff that we've done with the company a few years. But starting with, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
And, you know, I was told Monterey County, the whole thing, and then you come in with this accent.
Well, I was a blue-eyed gypsy. I was born in London, lived in Australia, lived in Kenya, I lived around the world, but happily now California once again, so it's good to be back.
The Kenya part was interesting to me.
Yeah, we have a wildlife preserve about 6 hours northwest of Nairobi, and we have a school for about 400 children there, so we feed, clothe, educate them. And
who's we? The family?
The family, exactly.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
What pays the bills is wine. So, but we look at both things in 30, 40-year contexts because you just have to have that much patience, not only in Africa but also with wine and how you steward the land.
That's very interesting. My daughter spent weeks there in I think it was Nairobi, where she was working with kids, high school kids, and on a missions trip sort of thing. She came back very changed.
It's a place that just changes your life. You can close your eyes and you can smell it and you can feel it and you can hear it, and
that's very
just never gets out of your skin.
So we were talking earlier that we had featured a Smith & Hook wine 1983, and you said that was the two families that owned the wine before you started. But then, before we got to that, I want to know how you got in it, because your father started the business.
He did. I got in the old-fashioned way. He decided to quit, and I decided to take over. And it's been an adventure ever since. But I've been in the industry more off and on my entire life, but I took over about 7 years ago. And that's why we have our new labels and where we're growing.
But you came from the financial world.
Yes, I started off as a mailboy licking envelopes, believe it or not. And then after that, worked in hedge funds, worked in biotechnology and a few other fields in the investment side of things. But one too many JetBlue flights back, I decided I wanted to come back and live in California and take over.
Well, I don't blame you, and in God's country, as it were, in Monterey County, no less.
One could do worse.
Yes.
It's beautiful out there. If you're ever actually driving up, we have a tasting room, we have a view of the pinnacles. It's basically just go right up the 101 and you can't miss us.
Yeah, which is infinitely better than going up the 5 and trying to cut across, right? I mean, that is
Absolutely.
The worst drive.
Don't do that to yourself. If you have time, take the 1 and then do the scenic route and then just head right from San Luis Obispo.
Well, I took the one coming home once and I got stuck behind the Culligan truck, the big things.
It beats the Winnebago. The Winnebago is the worst.
That would be. So we're going to start with the SLH brand, and this is the Chardonnay, and I just found this so elegant.
Please, thank you.
So tell us about the SLH, what's behind the brand itself.
Sure.
And
back in 1991, we created the Santa Lucia Highlands. We filed with the government, and we wanted to create something that was not Monterey County. And the reason is because of the Monterey Canyon, which is why they have a famous aquarium there, all of the fog comes into the entire valley and remains very, very cold. But up in the Santa Lucia Highlands, the sun burns all that fog off. So it's the only place in the world whereby you have cool weather grapes like Chardonnay, like Pinot Noir, which have 100% sun coverage from 10 a.m. every day. So there you are wearing a parka and getting a sunburn at the same time. And that really works with Chardonnay and with Pinot Noir, because most Pinot Noir and Chardonnay come from places like Russian River or Burgundy, where it's cool and damp and a lot of cloud cover. It's our area, and why we created the appellation to begin with, that has all of that sun cover. And that's how you get all these new flavors that you wouldn't usually get in a Chardonnay or a Pinot Noir.
But you get Chardonnay flavors, and that's the key, because so many Chardonnays, particularly in California, they're over-oaked. Here you get wonderful, and I don't know how much oak you have in this, but there's faint touches of it, but you taste Chardonnay great.
And that's why we really don't oak much at all. It's 100% French. You don't need the heavy American. You just need a little bit of finishing school. And then the French, it's mostly not new oak. And we do that on purpose because all the flavors are there, and why get in the way?
I could see if you put American oak in here, it'd be like
yeah. That's
like
why we don't.
Really elegant and very refreshing to taste wine from that part of the state that has real fruit character. Let's go to this intrigued me, and I didn't elaborate on one of the comments you made about this wine, the Lucien. Your Baroness, your grandmother?
My grandmother's Baroness, hence the crown on the top there.
Yeah, so...
And we've named it after the region, so Lucien, and my grandfather's first name is Lucien, so another reason to do that. And these are all single vineyard. We only have 3 vineyards we source from. Each Lucien is from that particular vineyard, and this year and last year, the Lone Oak that we're drinking is my favorite vineyard of all.
And you have 3 Pinot Noirs. You have the SLH, you have the Hahn Pinot, but this is
the top end.
This top end. This is very elegant, and I'm going to put this in my own cellar. This is really fun. So when I have my snobby wine friends come in and they want to taste Pinot Noir and Burgundy, they're going to taste this and get...
Side by side, I'd take that on any day.
Yeah,
and again, just really
definitely.
backing off the oak and letting the grape speak for itself.
The nose is gorgeous. And so she's a Baroness. How do you get that title?
Well, she's technically a Freiherrin, which is sort of an independent Baroness. So she reported originally back in the day directly to the Emperor. So it's like a barony, but an independent barony. It's a German quirk having to do the Holy Roman Empire and the history that was involved back then. So again, the old-fashioned way is did some favor for the Emperor sometime, and then they inherited the title ever since.
Your website must be 1,000 pages to go through all this history you guys have. That's pretty amazing.
It's best to do it in person.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I suppose. This is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And so this how much oak in this?
Oh, very little. I'd say, 30% new French. The rest of it's old, usually 2 or 3 years old.
I can tell
The
you...
cooperages are not very happy with us because we go slowly.
Yeah, right. I can tell you that's one of the best Pinots we've tasted here in a long time. Like, I'm going to go to... You switch gears on this, and you have the Hahn brand. Now, that's your main brand, is
Yes.
a family brand. And here's a Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre, GSM as it's commonly called.
So this is a Rhone blend. We've designed it specifically for food. And the way I describe it is, Grenache is the solid, wage-earning man, Syrah is a spicy woman, and Mourvèdre is the stressed-out marriage counselor.
Really
And the great thing
right.
about it is somehow, this crazy mix works. And I've served this from everything from swordfish to spicy Mexican food. And it just pairs really well with any food you like. And at dinner parties, I go through cases of this. And the reason is that every time you have a different meal, different flavors come out. And that just makes it work. It's mostly Grenache. It's about 2/3 Grenache, 1/3 Syrah, and it's that little bit of the marriage counsel Mourvèdre in it to make it work.
It does do that because sometimes these wines, they're separate. You get as you go through the palate, you get the different flavors. This is melded very well, and it's very soft. Because sometimes you get that animal Syrah character going on. You don't get that here. Is that because of the district? Or what?
It's really a matter of... Mourvèdre is only about 5 to 10% usually in the blend, and that little bit somehow calms the Syrah down and lets it work with the Grenache and makes such a rounded flavor on the mouth.
That is so good.
Thank you.
You were talking about the next wine we're going to taste with this Smith & Hook. And you said that you've tasted all 30.
We've had 34 vintages, and I started drinking when I was 4. Water with a few drops of wine, and then the end wine with a few drops of water, and then the end hold the water. And this is our oldest brand. It's been in production since 1980. And we named it after the Smith and the Hook families, who were the old ranchers, and they had horse ranches out where we were. And we bought them out and then started planting vineyards. So we named our first ever product after them. And 34 vintages later, this is my favorite red Cabernet that we've done. So the grapes on this one come from Paso Robles area. Which is hotter and therefore works better with Cabernet than Pinot Noir. And what we've been doing is we've been really, really experimenting the last couple of years to get a layered flavor. And I think you'll notice that with this Cabernet that you'll have an after effect, an after flavor that can last up to a minute, and you get this layered amount of Cabernet. And for us, it's a very unique thing, and it's just the result of 30 years of experimentation.
It's gorgeous wine. We featured the 83 in the Wine of the Month Club many years ago, obviously. And when you said that you tasted the 30 years of vintages, I was intrigued because months ago in my neighborhood, and I've told this story to my customers many times already, but we were walking down the street. We went into a house that was not for sale, went into the wine cellar, which wasn't cool, but it was a below grade, and we found about 30 years of our Wine of the Month Club history in this guy's cellar. And so my father and I, this side over here, wine's back to 77 that my dad featured in the Wine of the Month Club. And so I bring him in here once a month or so, and we sit and taste on camera 4 or 5 of the wines. And they're doing incredible, actually.
Wow.
I mean, I was shocked at some of these, even white Burgundies that are still like holding
drinkable.
Up. So that's really fun to be able to taste, and know and reflect back to these. Because to me, the sense of smell and taste are like the most memorable things you have, right?
Absolutely.
And so
it connects directly to your memory. That's why if you smell something, it can bring a memory back more vividly than if you've seen it again. It's exactly that. It's another great thing about wine, and the fact that, of course, you have to have a good meal with wine,
right.
And all those things interact with your memory at the same time.
That's what's really intriguing about it. So Bone Shaker, which is the last wine for today, is. Now tell me about this label because.
Well, it's the only glow-in-the-dark label in the world, as far as I know. So if you ever have a power outage,
I've never had one here before.
Look for the label, and you'll know what you're going to be drinking that night. So this is a Flash Détente Zinfandel. So it's a Zinfandel from Lodi. We've started producing it only in the last couple of years, just really for fun. And it's a big broadside of a Zinfandel. And we're using the very interesting technology to make it have that sort of layered effect. And it's been a hit. And it's, again, you put it next to a light, show your friends in the dark, and they'll have a giggle about it.
You know what's great about it, besides the label, of course, is that A, it tastes like Lodi. and it tastes like Zin. And it's got great balance. It doesn't blow your acid away or anything when you're done. I didn't mean acid as an ASSID. Okay, so this is, sorry, it's really fun, balanced Zinfandel. But why did you, decide to go to, here you are in the Central Coast of Monterey, but you ended up in Lodi?
Well, Zin doesn't work in our area, and we always wanted to produce one. And Lodi is getting better and better and better. Its reputation is getting better there, and you can, if you have the right sourcing, you can really get some wonderful Zins, and you can produce it at an affordable cost.
That's great.
And with the way we make our Cabernet, we use the knowledge we learned there to make the Zin, and that's why it has that long balance and long finish.
Excellent wines. It was a pleasure meeting you, Philip.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
And good luck in your travels today.
Cheers
and
to that.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.